Kevin Tansky.
Absent, excused.
Andy Selhertz.
Here.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd first like to have a motion to amend the agenda tonight to remove ordinance 2015-35, which was to purchase fill material from Tucson Incorporated for the landfill project in an amount not to exceed $17,756. It was deemed by our consultant CEC that adding this vendor for the same price as already quoted for the previous project is no longer necessary.
So moved.
Second.
To amend the agenda, Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Need a motion to approve the minutes from April 13th, 2015.
So moved.
I have one correction. Where it's got me listed as with the Public Works Committee, and actually the report should be from as a school board liaison.
On page.
Page 2.
Make a motion to approve as amended.
So moved.
Second.
To approve as amended, Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Abstain.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Abstain.
Mary Belbeer.
Abstain.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
We will now proceed with our regular council meeting. On behalf of City Council, I'd first like to thank all of the employees, the VFW, Pastor Carl from Brooklyn Reformed Church, the Laurel Garden Club, and all of the volunteers who work so hard on the Memorial Day Parade. We are lucky to live in a country where we have so many liberties, and that is in part because of the men and women in our military who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. Additionally, on behalf of City Council, I would like to send condolences to our colleague Kathy Pucci and her family on the loss of her mother-in-law, Lois Pucci. Your family is in our thoughts. Council met in a work session on Tuesday, May 12th at 6 p.m. to hear a presentation from David King from Horn & King about a needs assessment completed for the new police station. The mayor, his administration, and council are scheduled to continue discussions in a work session scheduled on Tuesday, June 2nd at 6:30 p.m. All are welcome. We have a short agenda tonight. We have an ordinance to publicly auction 6 city-owned vehicles. The city pays a fee of $100 per vehicle to participate in the Greater Cleveland Auto Auction. We have an ordinance repealing Section 707.02B, security requirements for ATMs of the codified ordinances. This eliminates the need for a button and it replaces it with a card swipe. We have an ordinance establishing the position of a part-time property maintenance inspector within the building department. This establishes work duties including to perform commercial and residential property maintenance inspections, enforce property maintenance codes, prepare and maintain related records. This also gives the job a range pay between $8.10 per hour and $20 per hour. This position already exists, but a recent look at our books, there was an ordinance missing for this position. We also have an ordinance for non-bargaining pay schedule, specifically adding a property maintenance inspector as just explained, and a park and recreation commissioner to a salary up to $88,537. This was actually a mistake, and it's supposed to go back down to $80,000. So there's going to be some changes made to that. At this time, we'll have a public session. If anyone in the audience has anything for the good and welfare of the city of Brooklyn, please step forward, state your name, address, including city, and keep your comments to 5 minutes or less.
Good evening. My name's Lou Changari. I live at 8972 Trail Run Drive. I'm here as a school guard because, as I've heard in the last 10 years that I've been a guard, how everyone says, boy, you got it made. The school crossing job is a snap. Well, this morning I heard a little bit different. And what we should do is tell that to the crossing guard, Linda Mitchell, who works the corner of Memphis and Rodone and Westbrook. She got hit by a car while crossing a student last Thursday.
Lou, she didn't get hit. She tripped. There was no car that hit her.
Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, I'm only telling you, Betty told me this morning.
She didn't get hit.
She didn't get hit? Okay, well then. Well, that blows my whole thing. Okay, that's it. No, what I would, one of the reasons why I came up here too is we as school guards do not have any set procedures what we should do in the case of something like that happen. If one of us would get hit or have an accident, I know what I would do. I would call fire department first and then call police, or try to call both at the same time. But some of the other ones, I don't think they know what the procedures are.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Now, I also want to remind everybody that as of Friday, all the schools in the area are going to be on their vacation. So I want you to be aware that the kids will be all around instead of just going back and forth to school. And I want you to remember that these children could be either your son or your daughter or a grandchild. And I don't think any one of us wants to go and visit them in the hospital because we are on our stinking cell phones or not having their kids buckle in the car, which I see every day. The cell phones is the worst thing because people creep because they're looking down and they forget that they have their foot on the brake pedal. So I would rather make sure that everybody in this room and everybody on the TV knows that the kids are there, my grandkids are there, and I want to make sure that when school opens in September, they're not going to show up in a cast or not show up at all. Otherwise, have a good one. I also want to say that the Memorial Day program was super duper. I mean, everybody there was super. The parade was super. The mayor gave a great speech if you missed it. And all the veterans. What I noticed is we don't have as many as the old timers this year as we had last year, which tells us that a lot of those World War II vets are no longer with us. So remember, Memorial Day is for all veterans, either alive or past. Thank you.
Thanks, Lou.
Todd Hopkins, 642 Redstone Circle in Brunswick. I'm here on behalf of the Brooklyn City Schools. First off, I'd like to apologize. Due to a commitment at our board meeting on May 11th, I was unable to be here for that council meeting. But I wanted to be here as a representative of the district and truly thank the community for passing our school levy on May 5th. Certainly, this does not solve the financial issues that we have within the district, but it is the first step in moving our district forward and continuing the momentum that we have with our new building. So thank you to the community. Thank you to council for your support. We truly appreciate it, and we'll move forward in a way that represents the entire district. Thank you.
Thanks, Todd. Does anyone else from the public have anything for the good and welfare of the city of Brooklyn? Okay, we will move on to reports of committees, commissions, and boards. And first up is our Finance Committee Chair, Kathy Pucci.
Thank you. Good evening. The Finance Committee met earlier this evening at 6:30. These meetings are open to the public, and the public is more than welcome to attend. We had a brief discussion on two ordinances that are on our agenda this evening. Ordinance 2015-37, which will be on first reading. We're going to amend this to specify that this part-time property maintenance inspector position will not qualify for either health care benefits or any sort of benefit time such as vacation, sick time, and holiday pay. and ordinance 2015-38, which amends the compensation for the full and part-time employees who are not part of a collective bargaining agreement. We're also going to amend that to include a part-time exercise instructor at the Recreation Department, as Ms. Gallagher stated, to rescind the noted change raising the rec commissioner's salary from $80,000 up to $88,000, and then we'll also specify in this legislation also that there are certain positions contained in this ordinance that will also not qualify for health care benefits and or accrue any sort of benefit time. And Mr. Enovich reported that he is working on our tax budget, which is due down to the county by July 17th, and we anticipate having that on first reading at our next meeting. That completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Board of Zoning Appeals, Building Commissioner Colzar.
Thank you. The Board of Zoning Appeals met on Thursday, May 21st, to hear a request from Bruce Rakowski on behalf of Delia Rose for a 1,296 square foot variance for an additional accessory structure, and also for a 2-foot height variance. Both were approved by the board. Thank you. That concludes my report.
The Planning Commission will meet Thursday, June 4th at 6 p.m. in City Council Conference Room to hear a request from Becker Signs to install a monument and wall sign for business identification of Today's Dentistry located at 4301 Ridge Road. The Domestic Abuse Commission met Monday, May 18th at 6 p.m. We heard a presentation from Jill Similek, who is the manager at the new Cuyahoga County Family Justice Center. If you know anyone who is experiencing current or past domestic abuse, showing signs of trauma from abuse, or need help filling out civil or criminal temporary protection orders, the center will help you. You do not need an appointment, just show up. They can do a brief intake and the client will dictate what their needs are. The center is located at 75 Airy View Plaza on the 5th floor. Their phone number is 216-443-7375, and they should have a website up and running by June, and I will announce that at that time. The committee also discussed the police procedures with our own Brooklyn Sergeant Cindy Eschweiler. The one aspect Sergeant Eschweiler identified is helping to build trust with the police officers in Brooklyn. She and the committee recommended such things as the police department open house, ride-alongs, community meetings, business meetings on merchant thefts, and a citizen academy. We haven't had a chance to discuss any of this with the police chief, but we're going to do this shortly. Our next meeting will be Monday, June 29th at 6 p.m. in the City Hall Conference Room. Next up is Public Works and School Board Liaison, Councilman Selhertz.
Thank you. For several weeks now, we've had construction in progress on a number of streets for the 2015 year. Please have patience as we try to get our streets back into the shape that they need to be and what you deserve. This year's program is ambitious in that we are working on more streets than we have ever before in any single year. Rodone Road is still being looked at this year again for funding, grants, and other financing. This would cover Rodone from Bidoff to Memphis. The estimate last year for the project, including paving after sewer and other utility work, was approximately $2.2 to $2.3 million. This past week, the cab and chassis for the V-Hook truck were delivered to Freightliner on Brook Park Road. From there, it is now on the next step for the installation of the V-Hook assembly so that we can have this vehicle in time for fall when the leaves start falling. And it can be operated as a one-man automatic leaf collection machine. This will replace the current 3 to 4-man operation that is now in existence. Once the leaves are done, the leaf portion of the vehicle will be taken off and the salt spreader body will be put on. This will also replace one of the large trucks that is currently no longer in service. This Thursday, there will be a Public Works Committee meeting at 4 p.m. at City Hall. One of the topics will be to look at the purchase of an additional automated refuse truck made by Labrie called the Mini-Max. This truck is only about half the size of the current vehicles in that it has a 14-yard capacity as compared to the 30 or 33-yard capacity. The idea behind this truck is to be used for areas where the tipper trucks are now needed because the current automated vehicles are too large. The new vehicle will also serve as a backup when either one of the two other larger vehicles are down for repair. Although not in this year's budget, with the money saved and getting the roads out on bid on time earlier than years before and the sale of some old equipment that sits idle, a good portion of this vehicle should be paid for. We had a walkthrough with Ridgerow this afternoon from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Mr. Verba, people from the county engineer's office, ODOT, contractor from PERC was there. I was along with it. We spent 2 hours, came up with a punch list of about 5 or 6 pages of items to be worked on. Some of the areas that do need seeding are going to be worked on. We looked at poles that have been left there by the utilities. They should be getting moved out. There's loose wires from cable companies, a variety of things. In the first sections that were paved, they're actually going to go back and fertilize and do weed and feed. In the sections that were just done lately for seeding, where they actually did a hydro seeding and then put mulch on, the straw on it, they're actually going to let the seed try to germinate. There's rye seed in there, rye grass. They're going to try to give it a week or two yet to actually germinate, and if it doesn't take, they're going to go back at it. The whole idea of it is there are a number of things that they still have to do. The contract is not done. The contract is not going to be signed off until the end of summer, till everything's in the shape that it's supposed to be. There are also issues with some curbs, everything else. So all these things are being addressed. So we spent a thorough 2 hours of walking through the area. Also at the meeting coming up this Thursday, we're also going to talk about current and future street projects. And we're going to have a city engineer also involved with some of this, because it also involves sewer work and sanitary work as well. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Legislative update, Mary Belbier.
Now that summer is here and our kids will be out riding their bicycles, we all have to be extra vigilant. Also, the children have to practice extra caution, and that includes wearing a proper helmet while riding on a bike or as a passenger on a bike. State Senator Shannon Jones has introduced a bill, House Bill 157, that requires cyclists under 16 to wear helmets. Bike rental companies must inform customers of the law and rent helmets if necessary. The legislation would offer limited civil liability to businesses that comply with these requirements. Parents and guardians who violate the law would pay $25 for a first offense and $100 for subsequent offenses. The money goes to the state treasurer to fund safety awareness classes and purchase helmets for low-income families. Earlier, State Senator Mike Skindell introduced similar legislation, except the age requirement would be under 18 and the fine is limited to $25. In Brooklyn here, we have had an ordinance since 2001 requiring children under the age of 14 to wear a helmet. A policeman can give a warning, and if there is a repeat infraction, a $25 civil penalty can be assessed. The chief can waive the fine for good cause, such as purchasing approved helmets. The chief tells us that approved helmets can be purchased at the police department for cost, which is roughly about $9. Bottom line is, something as simple as bike riding can be dangerous without a helmet. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. We will move on to reports of council. And first up tonight is Tony I called you both at the same time. I didn't realize you didn't give it. Okay, school board liaison, Mr. Sellers.
Sorry about that. Quick reminder, once again, if your child's 5 by September 30th, register with the board. You can go on through their website or call 216-485-8112. The Board of Education held its regular monthly meeting in room 173 on May 19th. At the meeting, Marty Ferry announced that 71.23% of the school construction project was done. With that said, the next important date is June 1st, where they're actually going to start to move the middle school from the old building into the new building. Also at the meeting, the board recognized the class of 2015 that is graduating with 105 students. The board acknowledged the honors diploma class of 2015 consisting of 21 students. 2015 National Honor Society inductees consisted of 20 students. 2015 National Art Honor Society inductees consisted of 7 students, and there were 4 students in the ACT 30+ program. Also, the board approved item 5.5, suspension of teaching contracts pursuant to reduction in the workforce, and the reduction in workforce consisting will be of 1 elementary teacher, 1.5 special education teachers, 1 physical education teacher, and 1 practical arts teacher. Also, the millage rates for the year 2016 were read and approved. For other agenda items discussed at this meeting or any other meeting and voted upon, please go to the school system's website and click on the Board of Education tab and then on the Board Docs tab. Next board meeting is Tuesday, June 16th, room 173 at 6 p.m. Public is welcome and encouraged to attend. That concludes my report. Sorry about that.
This evening we'll begin with council reports. Tony DeMarco.
I have no report.
Ron Van Kirk.
Thank you, Mrs. Gallagher. I wanted to echo Mr. Changiri's what he said about yesterday's ceremony. A super duper, I think, is what he said. But I would agree. Everyone that participated yesterday, it was very well done. I had the privilege of walking in the parade with the other city leaders, and along with my wife and my son. It was his first Memorial Day parade, and he could not get enough of the Brooklyn Band. He just turned 1 last week, and actually got a good picture on the city's Facebook page on there with him and with Councilwoman Gallagher's daughter there, Quinn. And he had a great time. He loved the band. He loved seeing everybody, and just had a wonderful time. It was a fantastic parade. Then, as always, Brooklyn did a tremendous job honoring those who served and are serving in our armed forces. The mayor did a great job, again, with a speech. And both of my grandparents served in the military, and they've both passed on now. But the memory of their service remains. And so to all those who serve, of course, we say thank you, and may God sincerely bless you. I want to commend the Cleveland Mayor, Frank Jackson, and Cleveland Police Chief Calvin Williams, as well as all the Cleveland police officers, the Ohio State Troopers, the Sheriff Department here in Cuyahoga County, and even some of our own Brooklyn safety forces that have helped keep Cleveland and the surrounding communities safe over these past few days. You know, with all the violence and upheaval that we've seen in Baltimore and in Ferguson, it is good to see the safety forces in our town were prepared, were out in force, and squelched any violence before it escalated. You know, we often complain when leaders of our communities do things we don't agree with, but we should also commend them when they do a good job. You know, we live in a nation where we're free to express our opinion, and I applaud that freedom. However, in recent days in other cities, that freedom has been abused and reduced to criminal behavior. It's a testimony to the people of Cleveland for keeping the protests civil and peaceful. There will be more controversial hearings and verdicts in the future, but maintaining law and order benefits every side of any issue and ensures that our right to free speech stays intact. My sincerest thank you to all of our armed service personnel for keeping us safe, and my prayers that safety continues. I also want to echo what Mr. Selhert said a second ago to all the Brooklyn residents for their patience with the city street construction. I know it can be an inconvenience. They're on my street right now, but communication, at least on my street, has been very, very good with the people that are doing it, and the progressing actually ahead of schedule, at least on my street. The roads will be great once everything is finished, so just please be patient. If you have any questions or complaints, please feel free to pass them on to any of the council people, and we'll be sure that they get addressed. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Kathy Pucci.
Thank you. Last Friday, one of the young people in our community, Stephen Summers, passed away. He fought a long, heroic battle against his illness, and I would ask that our community would keep his family in their prayers. I, too, would like to thank everyone who participated in the Memorial Day ceremony and festivities. Memorial Day is to honor those who have given their lives for our freedom. The most recent fallen heroes from our community are Angel Lopez and Timothy Knight. Please keep the families of these young men especially in your prayers. I just want to clarify that the Rodone project that we're going to apply for funding for, that's also going to include the alley and the service court. And just to expand a little bit on what Mrs. Balbier said on the helmets, two things. The first is that our ordinance not only applies to youngsters under 14 riding bicycles, but it also covers skateboarding and rollerblading. And the other point I'd like to make is to encourage anyone who needs a helmet to please take advantage of this partnership that we established where we can get them through our police department. These are the top-rated certified helmets that are, if you go to buy them, they're between $30 and $40 to start with. And because of a partnership that we established quite a long time ago, our residents can purchase these for about $9. Most important thing, though, make sure it fits properly. And that completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Belbeer.
Thank you. I, too, would like to express my deepest, sincerest condolences to the Pucci family. It's always sad when you lose your mom, no matter how old you are, no matter however the situation is. There's just something so special about a mom, so my condolences to your family. Of course, I would love to just tell everybody the parade yesterday was fabulous. I had guests from out of town, and I was so proud that our city was a shining star. I have to thank Mr. Verba and all the crew at the service garage because our city looked so manicured. The grass, the mulch, the flowers, it was just fabulous. A great big thank you to our service garage and all those who partook in everything that made the parade just wonderful. It was also an honor to march in the parade, and I, coming from a family of service people, it's just an honor, and being married to a serviceman, it's just an honor to march in a parade such as that. But it was also nice to see the camaraderie amongst the older and the younger, I want to say army men or troops, soldiers, we'll call them, and they just got along so well. And every time I extended my hand and wished them and thanked them for their service, they were sincerely thankful for it. So it was nice to see. It truly was. I also appreciate Mr. Henning's enthusiasm and spunk for leading the parade with the troops. You know, that was really wonderful what he does. He encourages everyone to dress up, put their uniforms on, and be proud to march. Be proud that you are an American and you have served. Once again, I'd like to thank the band. Mr. Sean Sullivan, he does a fabulous job. We are so blessed to have him at our school. The young lady that played the taps so beautifully, Christine Haas, she did a fabulous, fabulous job, and I'm sure her family are very proud of her, but I'd like to recognize her for doing such a great job playing the taps. It was just such a wonderful, wonderful affair. On another note, there's a couple things happening here in Brooklyn. The Laurel Garden Club will be having a plant sale. They're having the plant sale right over here by the pavilion, and it's going to be June 2nd from 4 to 7, rain or shine, and it will be right behind City Hall here, and there's many, many treasures that you can find. And the great thing about this plant sale is because sometimes these women that run these clubs, they know so much about the plants that they can instruct you and guide you as to, gee, is this a perennial? Where would you plant this in your house in the shade, in the sun? So it's a great thing to do to support them, to support the club, and get some bargains. So that's going to be June 2nd from 4 to 7 right over here in our pavilion. The other thing is we're having a very big christening here in our city. It is the bocce ball court. I was there last week at the senior center, and I was tempting to play the bocce ball. I will play. I think I might join the women's bocce club, so watch out. But it looks fabulous. All the guys there, I interviewed them. They're ecstatic. They're excited. So we're going to be having a christening for the bocce ball court June 11th from 12:30 to 2. So please come out and see the bocce ball courts. Come out and have hot dogs and baked beans and cookies. We'll all chit-chat. It's just going to be fabulous. So please come and see what they were working on for so long. It looks wonderful. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Andy Selhertz.
Thank you. Also, my condolences to Kathy and Frank Pucci on the loss of Frank's mother this past weekend. Believe me, I understand all that stuff, so
Thank you.
Never easy. In my school reports, which I've heard at times can be long, I try to announce upcoming events. Some of them are for fundraisers, and some are just either musical events or sporting events. A number of these are with no admission, as the spring band concert, and as Mrs. Balbeer mentioned, you know, you've heard Christine Haas. She's actually a recipient of a couple scholarship awards to jazz camps. One of them's to a notable Boston College area jazz camp this summer. So there's some really good stuff going on. One of the other ones that's a free mission one is actually the varsity girls softball team that's been having their games held behind the recreation center. They actually had a very good season. Congratulations to head coach Tim Hanlon, assistant coach Michelle Rivera on a 15-8 record this season. Their season ended this past Monday, on May 18th at Firestone Field in Akron with a 7-5 loss to the Field school system in the Northeast District Tournament. When I say it's free, I mean your tax money is going to support the schools, but it's also, there's no admission to this. And even when the players are playing the game, they appreciate to see some people that are interested in it, and it's actually fun to see. So I would encourage maybe this coming year, if there's a little bit more community participation. As Lou mentioned, with school out, and as you heard from other people, please be careful when driving on our side streets. And also thank you to all those that participated in the Memorial Day parade yesterday, and to all those that took the time to attend the parade and the ceremonies at City Hall. A very nice, respectful day. Thank you. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Good evening. One of the common complaints that we as City Council have every year is about fire pits. And what your position on it back and forth, that's what I'm not going to talk about. I just want to talk about the safety issues. Our Fire Chief Zemek does a really good job about passing out the safety rules everywhere, but I just wanted to remind everyone a couple of them. The device has to be located at least 15 feet from any structures. And you can see this is important because our houses are so close together. They must be attended by a responsible adult at all times while in use, and then you should use fuel such as seasoned wood to minimize the generation or emission of contaminants. Again, I just want to pass it on. Safety is important, so I just want to remind everyone, just as Fire Chief Zemek does in letters to people in our newsletter. Big Creek Connects will host the 17th annual Big Creek Watershed Cleanup on Saturday, May 30th from 9 a.m. to noon. If you're interested in volunteering, the meeting location is behind the fire station at 800 Memphis Avenue at 8:45 a.m. They usually clean up the Kingdom behind the fire station and in Lower Memorial Park, all of the debris that's left over from the winter. Friends of the Brooklyn Library will have a book sale Saturday, June 6th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. All the proceeds help with the library necessities, such as pens, paper, all that kind of stuff. And lastly, I'd like to congratulate all of the Brooklyn High School seniors who are graduating this week. And that concludes my report. Mayor?
Thank you. I also want to offer my condolences to the Pucci family. Everybody's talked about the parade. I'd like to say a few words also. I'd like to thank a lot of people that helped put it together. Jill, my secretary, Maria and Tina from the rec department, and especially the service department for all the work they did. And the weather was perfect. There was a nice breeze blowing as I was reading my speech. That's the first time that ever happened, so it worked out very well. I also, like Ron said, I want to congratulate Mayor Jackson from Cleveland. They were very prepared for this ruling that came down on the policemen. They had meetings with all the suburban fire chiefs, all the suburban police chiefs, and then last Thursday they called for the mayors to come down to Mayor Jackson's office, and I went down there and he went over all the details. They were very, very well prepared for this decision, and I think they should be commended for what they did. And I understand the governor has already said that it was an excellent handling of it. When we did this parade, at the end of it, I usually call out the names of everybody that's serving in the military in the city of Brooklyn, and I called out 43 names. And we also had 3 people that are deceased over the last few years, and that was Timothy Knight. He died in 2005 in Iraq. Dennis Felton died in 2013 in Italy, and Angel Lopez died in 2013 in Afghanistan. And last Friday, somebody at City Hall mentioned to me they're going to honor Angel Lopez and donate part of I-71 to him at 1 o'clock Friday. I knew nothing about it. So our law director, Scott Clausen, and myself jumped in the car and we went over to Cunning Recreation Center. And the state senator, Riker Skindell, had put this together, and they're naming part of I-71 from 480 to West 150th Street for Specialist Angel Lopez Highway. So if you drive that stretch, you'll see the plaque on each side of the road designated for him. And it was a very emotional ceremony. They wanted me to get up and talk too, but I refused. I said I had nothing prepared. We didn't even know anything about it. But his brother got up and spoke, and his brother's in the military, and he broke down a half a dozen times talking about his brother. And then they said it was fitting. He graduated from John Marshall High School, and Friday was the last day for John Marshall High School. They're tearing it down. They built a new school. And his mother and father live on Rodone. That's why we include him in ours. So just remember all the servicemen in your prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I forgot to add, the American Cancer Society will have their annual Relay to Life in Brooklyn on June 20th from noon to midnight at the track. If you're interested in signing up, it's at relayforlife.org/BrooklynOH. Okay, next we're on to the Director's Report. Recreation Manager Maria McGinty.
Good evening. Please join us for the Natatorium's Pool Party Picnic, which will be held this Sunday, May 31st from 2 to 5. The Natatorium opened 25 years ago, so we are celebrating with 1990 admission prices. $1 for adult residents with the current ID. Resident students and seniors are free with the current Rec Center ID. We'll be offering picnic lunch deals at the concession stand and a DJ playing music, so come join the fun. The John M. Coyne Recreation Center will be hosting the 2015 Ice Show, Inspire, on Friday, June 5th and Saturday, June 6th. The show will be at 7 p.m. on both evenings. The cost for the show is $6 for adults, $4 for students. Children 5 and under and Brooklyn seniors are free. The Recreation Department is still registering for Learn to Swim morning and evening classes, fall soccer, and summer day camp program. For more information regarding any of these programs, please call the Recreation Department at 216-351-5334. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Finance Director Dan Enovich.
Thank you. Thank you, Council President Gallagher. As of today, our general fund balance is $10,378,223.51. Year-to-date, we've taken in $7,574,161.90 into the general fund, and we've expended $7,275,298.06. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Police Chief Scott Melke.
I just wanted to take a minute to thank the Brooklyn Police Auxiliaries. They came in yesterday and helped with the parade. They volunteered their time. Special thanks to Captain Gary Sundermeyer and Sergeant Rich Hovan, who led the auxiliaries yesterday. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to legislation. First is Ordinance 2015-33, authorizing the sale of certain city-owned vehicles through the Greater Cleveland Auto Auction public auctioneers for the purpose of disposing of city vehicles at public sale. This is on second reading. Ordinance 2015-36, repealing Section 707.02b, security requirements for ATMs of the codified ordinance of the City of Brooklyn, Ohio. This is on first reading. Ordinance 2015-37, establishing the position of part-time property maintenance inspector within the building department in the City of Brooklyn. This is on first reading. Ordinance 2015-38, amending Exhibit A of Ordinance 2015-31, titled Providing for the Compensation for the Part-Time, Full-Time, and Administrative Employees Non-Bargaining Agreement of the City of Brooklyn, Ohio. This is on first reading. Does anyone on council or any director have anything they'd like to add tonight?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
To adjourn, Katie Gallagher,
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.